So, what is the deal with Eyes Wide Shut? And why should you even bother watching it? I mean, let's face it, people at the time it came out, they weren't terribly impressed. As I said recently to someone, a lot of people hated it. I mean, really hated it. It wasn't what they were expecting. They kind of got the sense that the thing with Kubrick was that he was about making the best of any particular type of film. The best war film, Paths of Glory. The best comedy satire, Dr. Strangelove. The best science fiction film, 2001. I don't know, things after that, well, the attempt to make the world's greatest horror film, The Shining. Well, let's be fair to The Shining. I went to see it when it came out, and it had been butchered, I didn't realise this, by the producers, and about 45 minutes had been cut out. The film didn't make any sense. The audience were laughing their heads off, and they've treated it like a comedy film. Well, until years and years and years later, I saw the entire thing, and I thought, actually, this is fairly scary. But I think that's the kind of thing that sort of got in the way for Kubrick. People admired him, revered him, but really, Eyes Wide Shut was his last film. It's supposed to be his blue movie. Ooh. People didn't get it. People really didn't get it. I didn't get it. I looked at it and I just thought, what? Is this a joke? Are you kidding me? You're being serious here? Like, what? What makes me change my mind? What makes me look at it again now? Why did I look at it again? Because of 2001. I saw 2001 again lately and I thought, oh, I actually get this. I think I know what's actually going on in it at last. And I thought, maybe I should revisit this one. Because I happen to have it knocking around. And I thought, is there more to it than meets the eye? Yes, there is. For a start, get it right out of your head that what Kubrick is trying to make is a blue movie. Maybe, if you want to see it that way, but it isn't. I'd approach it in this way. I'd approach it in what may sound a very facetious and silly way, but let's start with an innocent enough question. Where do you go? Where do you go if you want to know how heavy a whale is? It's obvious, really, isn't it? You go to a railway station. Of course. But here's the big question. Where do you go if you want to know how heavy a pie is? You've got a pie. You want to find out how heavy it is. Where'd you go? Well, the answer, again, is staring you in the face. Over the rainbow. Over the rainbow. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. Yeah, that's where you go when you want to find out how heavy a pie is. Over the rainbow, where you can weigh a pie. Now, that... I love that joke, by the way. I wish it was mine, but it isn't. That is basically what Eyes Wide Shut is about. It's about weighing that pie. Yeah, there'll be pie in the sky when you die. And that pie, the weight of that pie, that's the crucial element. Where'd you go to weigh it? Well, why not start here? Because all the ingredients are there to make the pie, and everything is available to help you determine just how heavy it really is. Let me explain. Look carefully at all the symbols of rainbows in this film. There are a lot of rainbows. It's a Christmas movie. Just like Gremlins and Die Hard. It's a Christmas movie that isn't really terribly Christmassy. That's what I'm getting at. But there's a Christmas tree in almost every scene. And boy, oh boy, are they colourful. Every colour of the rainbow. And where do you go? Where do you go if you want to get that cloak effect? You don't go over the rainbow. You go under the rainbow. Because everything in this world that we see is under the rainbow. The two girls that Dr. Bill meets at the party, they're inviting him to go to where the rainbow ends. In other words, kind of like where the simulation runs out, where this version of reality is wound up. Go beyond, go to the next stage. But of course, if you've seen the film of The Wizard of Oz, or read the book, book's wonderful, you will know something very important about Oz, because it's the Kingdom of Oz. The land of Oz is over the rainbow. That's the place. Everything that is Dorothy's existence in the supposed real world, that's under the rainbow. That's where we are. Over the rainbow, that's the land of Oz, which is a magical place where there are witches and tin men and straw men and cowardly lions. But if you recall something very important about the Wizard of, especially the Wizard himself of Oz, the land of Oz is itself an illusion. It is a hyper-reality beyond ours. It's in colour, whereas our world is black and white. But even it is not real. It's a fake. The wizard is not real. The Emerald City, this is in the book, not the film, the Emerald City is not really emerald. You have to put on emerald glasses to see it shining in all its bejewelled loveliness. Take the glasses off and it's not like that at all. So even Oz, even the higher level reality, actually isn't itself real. And Eyes Wide Shut kind of gives us that. We go over the rainbow when we find that even that is a fake. It's not real. So where is the real? And why, for instance, is it called Eyes Wide Shut? What sort of... People were baffled by the title. It became a joke title. Eyes wide shut. Your eyes are wide open. Unless they're shut. And when are they shut? When you are asleep. Your eyes are wide open in the dream. And your eyes are shut when you are dreaming. Here's the thing. This is the big bit. It's supposedly based on an Arthur Schnitzler story. By the way, I've read the story and it's really not similar at all. But what is the title of the Schnitzler novel? Traumnovelle. Dream story. Look at the closing credits and the music. The titles of so many of the pieces of music, especially classical, that are used, contain the word Traum, in German, dream. What you're looking at is a multi-leveled, multi-layered dream experience, much like The Wizard of Oz. I mean, don't forget at the end, ooh, spoiler, Dorothy wakes up, and you were there, and Auntie M, and you... it was all a dream, except that we know it wasn't. Or was it? There are levels and levels and levels. And when we discover that the two of them are really experiencing the same dream, there is a level beyond even what we've seen. Oz is a magical kingdom. Here we've got magic, but we've got the kind of magic that the Wicked Witch of the West and her cronies would recognise as black magic, as Aleister Crowley's kind of magic. That's going on. But is that in itself not yet another excuse to kind of wake up, to realise, to open your eyes in a much more meaningful way to see? The nightingales, they killed me. It's a line from one of my favourite films, The Dreams That Money Can Buy, Hans Richter. One of the films that I wouldn't have known about had it not been included in the list of my favourite films presented by David Lynch. It's a film about a man who heals his clients by creating dreams for them to experience. And in one of them, the nightingales kill the dreamer. We have a Nick Nightingale here. Remarkably contrived name. There are a lot of things that happen in the film that kind of don't make sense. And women are coming on to Tom Cruise all the time. Well, Tom Cruise. He's a handsome little chap, isn't he? He's not that good. Not to the extent that you'd find this sort of stuff happening. And that should tell him that something is not quite right. But it doesn't. Because he hasn't really properly woken up yet. His wife has, more than a bit. And there are strange anomalies. When he returns to the costume shop, have a look. Even he realises something is really very badly wrong, but he doesn't yet wake up. There are erotic elements in many dreams, and they're a substratum of the dream experience. And Kubrick is putting this in on purpose. He knows. And so what we're being given is an exercise in lucidity, in waking up within the dream and being aware that that is something we actually can do and really almost certainly should do. Oh, don't think I'm unaware of the conspiracy theorists, who I do have some time for, actually, with this one, who are saying, yes, but don't you know that this is hinting at the paedophile cults among the higher echelons? Yeah. A lot of that does go on. And, of course, there was a conspiracy theory, even at the time, that Kubrick had revealed too much about this, and they'd killed him. Not the Nightingales, but the Freemasons or the Scientologists. Oh, Scientologists. Ho, ho, ho. Yes, they get up to stuff like this too, don't they? Allegedly. And Tom Cruise was a Scientologist. What an irony. I'm sure he didn't see the connection at all. But yeah. There are elite, evil, black magic cults at the highest level. And Roman Polanski's The Ninth Gate, which is a lot more pro-Satan than Eyes Wide Shut, contains some very, very, very similar scenes in it, actually. Almost like carbon copies. So people were talking about this, but the idea that it's dealing with dream reality, it makes a whole lot of sense of the whole thing, because it's like, for goodness sake, you know, it's like if you look at it on the surface, he gets led into this murky world, except that it's not really all that murky, you know, excuse me, there are a lot more extreme stuff that go on in some clubs in London. And this is kind of like by comparison. But that's not the point. That's not the point. The invitation is to wake. The password is to be freed. Fidelio, about a prisoner who is freed by the sacrifice of his wife. But it's about freeing from imprisonment, waking into a higher state of consciousness. I mean, see what you think, but I don't think any of this is accidental. But it was easy to miss, and I missed it myself at the beginning. When I first saw it, I thought, for goodness sake, is this a joke? I don't think it is. And this, of course, puts it into a different bracket. 1999, Eyes Wide Shut was made. And in the same year, we had The Matrix, we had Being John Malkovich, we had The 13th Floor, one of my favourites. Where does the simulation end? And only a few months before, at the end of '98, we had The Truman Show on the air, Unaware. These are films which all are filled with millennial angst, of course, and then some, but are dealing with very much the same kind of argument. Is what we see real? Is this a dream? Can we wake from it? Or can we wake into a higher dream level? And there are several kind of what I call wake points within this. I mean, Stanley Kubrick famously never left Britain after he arrived there, and he arrived fairly early in his career. He never returned to the United States, did nothing to do with America. Effectively, he's a British director, even though he was born in America. All his films are made in London. All of them. Even Full Metal Jacket. Yes, those scenes in Vietnam, they were filmed in London. And this is the point. It's like Kubrick knew how to make London look like anywhere, look like Saigon. So why does he do such a terrible job with Eyes Wide Shut? I mean, I know those streets. They're in Dalston and Hackney. And, all he's done is put a few cardboard fire escapes up and made it... Sorry, it's Hackney. It's Hackney. But maybe we're meant to see it as Hackney. Maybe we're meant to know that it isn't really New York, that it's a kind of fake imitation of New York, that nothing is really as it seems. It's fascinating how Dr. Bill, everywhere he goes, he's flashing his doctor's card as though he were a policeman. I mean, have you ever seen a doctor say, I'm a doctor, and then show you his card? Here it is. Here's my card. No, policemen do this. So even that is a kind of fake. It's a kind of wanting to present a credential, a level of higher reality or greater authority that people accept. And of course they accept it because they're things in the dream. And so is he. And maybe so are we.